Deputy Commissioner Song, honored guests, 各位先生女士，各位加拿大嘅朋友，大家好。歡迎大家來到加拿大國慶酒會。Bienvenue tout le monde, and thank you for joining us for our Canada Day 2019 reception. Now, before we go any further, I think there's something I need to clear the air. There are a couple of burning questions that I think some people in the room have that I would like to address. The gentleman over here in the red jacket is a genuine Mountie. And he is currently single. So, now that we've got that out of the way, our theme, mesdames et messieurs, for this evening is all up, à vos pagailles. That is the call that goes out in the dragon boat to raise your paddles in unison in that moment before the first stroke at the start of the race. And we thought that dragon boating would be a great example of the dynamic and living connections between the Greater Bay Area and Canada today. Teak dragon boats were first brought from Hong Kong to Vancouver 33 years ago for Expo 86. And since then, Canadians have embraced this sport with a real passion. And now, as you can see, in our major cities from coast to coast, we have big annual dragon boat festivals. And in some places, we've even taken it to a new level of dragon boating on ice. Do not let it be said that we are not an innovative people. But we can go further back. Cantonese opera is another actually great example of the dynamic and living ties that we have. In Canada today, this traditional art is being passed on to a new generation in Cantonese opera schools. And not only that, but new works of Cantonese opera are being composed by Canadians. And here in Hong Kong, we have a Canadian cultural landmark in the West Kowloon Cultural District, the new Shichu Center for Traditional Opera. Heikop Zhongsam is the work of a Canadian architect, the late Bing Tom from Vancouver. So for me, it's really hard to imagine Canada today without the contribution of Hong Kongers, just as it's hard to imagine Hong Kong without the contributions being made by over 300,000 Canadian citizens here. 加拿大嘅香港人同埋香港嘅加拿大人一齊建立咗一個好大嘅跨太平洋嘅大家庭。We have a shared family history and a shared Commonwealth institutional heritage that bring us together between Canada and Hong Kong. So when Canada speaks out on Hong Kong issues, as we do from time to time, we do so grounded in those family ties and in respect for the principles and the great achievements of one country, two systems. We love Hong Kong. We want to see Hong Kong preserve what is most unique and precious about it. We want Hong Kong to continue to prosper, okay? And with our shared attachment to the rule of law, Hong Kong and Canada are working together every day in the WTO and other places around the world to defend and preserve a rules-based international trading system. We make common cause every day around the world, Canada and Hong Kong together. Now lately, for Canadians, the rule of law has taken on a very special importance. So in China today, we have two Canadian citizens, Michael Spavor and Michael Kovrig, who is a person known to many people in this room, who have been arbitrarily detained now for more than 6 months, without charge, unable to see a lawyer, unable to see a family member. And in calling for their release, and in calling also for clemency for another Canadian, Robert Schellenberg, who has been arbitrarily sentenced to death, we are so heartened at the support that we have been receiving from partners around the world. And our common aim is that disputes between countries can be settled in a manner that is rational, that is transparent, and that is humane. And to those who have joined us in raising your voices, let me say sincerely, thank you so much for your support, and let's keep at it. Now, there's no question that Canada and China are going through a difficult period right now. But I can assure you, on behalf of my government, that Canada and Canadians will continue to stand strong in defense of our values and in defense of our interests. Now, next year will mark the 50th anniversary of Canada stepping up to recognize the People's Republic of China in 1970. And in taking that as inspiration, we look forward to continuing to build a relationship with the people of China that is built on mutual trust and respect, and that is built on respect for the rights of every one of us, Chinese or Canadian, the rights that we should all enjoy. Now, we remain optimistic. On an optimistic note, I'm pleased to announce tonight that the province of Quebec is back in Hong Kong with an office. Le gouvernement de Québec ouvre à nouveau son bureau d'immigration ici à Hong Kong avec un mandat de prospection et de promotion pour la région de l'Asie-Pacifique. So at a time when Quebec is reopening its immigration office here, I can tell you this is another year in which Canada is welcoming newcomers in ever greater numbers. Now, this brings me to something we need to talk about. It's kind of the elephant in the room, so let's address it. This is all that I do, really. On June 13th, the NBA championship was won by a team assembled of players from 4 continents, the Toronto Raptors. And I can tell you the coolest thing about this story, and those who have been in Canada, who were in Canada a couple of weeks ago will know this, the coolest thing about this story is that it's the newest Canadians, the recent immigrants to Canada across the country who have been the biggest supporters of this Raptors team. And they have embraced that team and each other in celebration. And it's a really happy, amazing story. So, if you'll forgive us as Canadians, if there's a little extra swagger in our step these days. But you know, that comes not only from this championship moment, but we're at a time now, for example, where building on the base of the most educated workforce in the world, and immigration programs that enable companies based in Canada and investors who invest in companies based in Canada to attract the world's very best talent. Our top Canadian innovation centers are now leading Silicon Valley and Seattle in creating new tech jobs. We have an amazing array of Canadian innovation centers. And here in Hong Kong, what we're seeing now is new partnerships being developed between Canadian universities and research institutions and universities and research institutions in Hong Kong, leveraging our shared priorities in areas such as artificial intelligence and biomedical sciences and smart city initiatives. And we believe, as Canada and as Canadians, that Hong Kong has unique qualities that make it an essential destination for Canadians looking to expand their business in Asia. And so to this end, we are launching a Canadian Technology Accelerator in Causeway Bay that will serve as a landing space for selected Canadian tech entrepreneurs to come to Hong Kong and to be supported by a network of individuals and companies who will help with mentoring and introductions to Hong Kong's tech ecosystem. So in this and in so many other ways, we benefit every day from an incredible network of Canadians and friends of Canada here in Hong Kong and Macau. And you can see this, for example, in the growing numbers each year at the annual Terry Fox Run that takes place in Renaissance College in Sha Tin. November 9th will be the next Terry Fox Run. We'll see you there. You can see it also in our great sponsors for this evening's reception. And I'd like you to join me in recognizing them. We have our Platinum Maple sponsors, CK Group and RBC, our Gold Maple sponsors, BMO and Melco. We have our Red Maple financial sponsors over here. And over here we have our in-kind sponsors. Please join me in thanking them, and many of them are here for their support tonight. And you know, it's thanks to them that we all get to sample an amazing variety of tasty, high-quality, competitively priced Canadian food and drink items. And does anybody remember what we say about Canadian food and drink in Cantonese? Anybody? That's very good. Gana dai mei sik, ho yam, ho sik, ho jang. So we're wrapping it up now. Finally, finalement, j'aimerais remercier tous nos partenaires précieux. I want to extend a big thanks to all the great partners we work with throughout the year here, starting with the government and public institutions of Hong Kong and Macau, with our provincial offices of Alberta, British Columbia, and now Quebec, with our great chambers of commerce, CanCham, HK, the Canadian Chamber of Macau, and our new Canadian Chamber for the Pearl River Delta, our great partners in the university and NGO communities, and to everybody who volunteers in the community. And so on behalf of all 145 of us at the Consul General of Canada, de la part de toute notre équipe canadienne, I just want to say a big thank you for all your amazing contributions to Canada, Hong Kong, and Macau. Doje daiga ge hapjok, doje daiga ge gonghin. And thank you so much for your attention in hearing me out this evening. Merci, doje. And I now have the solo privilege of asking you to charge your glasses and join me in the traditional toast to the people of the People's Republic of China and the people of the Hong Kong and Macau Special Administrative Regions. Cheers.